Welcome to our cake decorating portion. I have here 4 circle cakes. I am going to do something special with my cakes, and so I'm actually cutting out a little center of the cakes. You'll see why here in a minute. But one tip for decorating cakes is to freeze them after you cook them. So you're going to put them all in the freezer. While they're freezing, we're going to go ahead and make fondant. So with your fondant, you need a whole bag of mini marshmallows to start with. Then we are going to take those mini marshmallows and you are going to put in about 2 teaspoons of water and microwave it for 30 seconds. There's my dog. After you microwave it for 30 seconds, you're going to stir it and pop it back in and microwave it for another 30 seconds until it's really, really smooth. It needs to go in about 1 more time. See how there's still some lumps of marshmallows in there? So I'm going to put it in 1 more time, and then it should be ready to go. After you get it nice and smooth and there's no lumps in it, you're going to add about 2/3 of your powdered sugar. So it's 2/3 of it's a 32-ounce bag of powdered sugar. And then you are just going to mix it all in there. It's going to kind of resist it a little bit, but you just do your best to incorporate it all in there. After you got as much as you can incorporated, you're going to put a little dusting of powdered sugar on the countertop, kind of like you would do with flour for bread. I am putting a little bit of shortening on my hands to keep the mixture from sticking, because it's going to be really sticky at this point. So you want to grease your hands just to help yourself out so it doesn't stick to you. And then I'm going to knead this like I would bread flour. So we're going to try and incorporate as much of the powdered sugar in it as you can. Now, the recipe calls for the whole bag of powdered sugar. I actually couldn't get that much into this recipe, so you're just going to add as much as you can. After you've incorporated as much into the ball as you can, I want to make different colors out of my fondant. So I'm just taking a small chunk out. I'm adding a little bit of food coloring, and then I'm going to fold it in on itself and try and mix that food coloring in to do my different colors. Now let's make the buttercream frosting. You're going to need powdered sugar, vanilla, butter, and milk. You want to make sure your butter is room temperature. If it's not, go ahead and pop it in the microwave for about 25 seconds. And then you're going to put it in a mixing bowl, and we're going to mix it all up so it's nice and creamy and soft. Now the buttercream is going to go on your cake before the fondant. It's going to act kind of like a glue, which is why I have both of the recipes in this one video.
Go ahead.
You're going to add 2 cups of powdered sugar. Make sure that your mixer is on slow so that the powdered sugar doesn't come flying out of your mixture. And then you're going to add 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. My little helper there, good thing he had a bowl to catch his vanilla spill. And you're just going to keep mixing it. You're going to see the mixture change colors. It turns from that bright yellow into a softer, almost white. And then 2 tablespoons of milk. You're just going to keep mixing it together till it's nice and soft, and it is the consistency of a frosting because that's what we're making. See, as you watch it, it just gets getting creamier and creamier. We're going to pull the cake out of the freezer. This is a tip for getting your cake out of the pan. You put it in a sink with hot water, very shallow hot water. Then you're going to just cut along the edges. Now remember, my cake is frozen now. It's going to come out of this pan a lot easier. It's going to come out so easy that even my 8-year-old can take it out. And we're going to put it on our surface. Now I want the cake to be level, so I'm going to cut off that rounded part in a nice straight line. So just try and hold your knife as parallel to the countertop as you can, and I'm going to slice off the top just to make sure I have a nice flat surface. Then we're going to do the same thing with the next pan. We're going to pop it into that shallow hot water. We're going to send a knife all the way around the edges just to separate it from the pan, pull it out, and put it on top of our other little donut. Now remember, my cake is, we're doing something special, so it has these holes in the middle. That is not a typical cake, but that's what I did. And I'm cutting and leveling each one. This is my top piece. I'm going to put that on, and I'm actually going to cut and level the top of that cake as well. Now I'm going to put it all together, and I'm using the frosting like a glue. So I'm going to take all those off of each other, and then I'm just going to start to frost in between each layer of cake. It's going to glue it together, and then it's going to be the tasty filling in between each layer. Now for my special surprise, we're filling the middle with M&Ms. So when we cut it open, it'll spill out M&Ms. It's going to be pretty darn fun. And now I'm frosting the whole thing. Now, if we were not doing a fondant and just doing regular frosting on your cake, this would be called the dirty frosting. You're going to dirty ice it, which means I would frost it and I would freeze it again and then frost it again, and the next layer would be really pretty. But this one is just going to be the glue for our fondant. So now I'm going to go back to my fondant. Same thing with powdered sugar on the countertop. Place your fondant out, and you are going to roll it. You're going to use lots of muscles. It's pretty strong. You're going to roll it out as thin as you can. Now we're going to get the fondant onto our cake. I use a rolling pin to roll it up. You're going to lift it up and just roll it gently onto your cake. And then you're going to want to smooth it down the best you can. It gets a little tricky on a round cake. You're going to have to cut the some of the corners as they bunch together. Going to trim the edges. And this is the fun part. We are going to decorate it. I'm going to roll out all of my colors. I'm just making circles. I'm not doing anything fancy, but you can cut them out into any design that you want. And then you're going to use water and a very clean paintbrush, and you just kind of place the water on the fondant. It acts like a glue, and you stick it to your cake, and then the water can also clean it up. See how there's still powdered sugar on that? You can use the water to brush it off and clean it up. then you just get to decorating. I don't like the raw edge at the bottom of my cake, so I'm making a thin like band to put around the bottom of the cake. I think it'll finish it off in a different